Welcome to Second Take, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. Village Main Reef CEO Bernard Swanepoel sees an opportunity for the company to play the perfect game of acquiring stressed assets, turning them around and then hiving them off. Mining Weekly editor Martin Creamer is in the studio to tell us more. Welcome, Martin.
Thanks, Shannon.
Can you tell us what Bernard Swanepoel's plan is for the newly enlarged Village Main Reef?
He's an astute man, and he's got a good team. And he's got a good CFO now in Marius Simon, and I think he's going to do well. I mean, everything he says just resonates. You know, we've been mining around here for 100 years. Their assets in decline. Some of them are in decline for good reason. You know, they're depleting. Others shouldn't be in decline. His great confidence is that he can turn these around. He can turn them into positive account and put them on a sustainable path. And then he wants to hive them off. This might be a relisting, or it might be selling it to an offtake partner, but I think this is a very different game. It's a very interesting game, and it may turn out to be the perfect game. Because who wants to build these empires? Who wants to build these big mining houses? You know, he's quite keen to take a R2 a share from a person and keep paying them back R2 a share, not necessarily moving those shares to R3 and R4 and R5. He's got a refreshing approach, and one would think that it was going to be very difficult for him to acquire assets now because we're in a resources boom. You know, things are bullish. He gets them. He gets those assets. I mean, he's got Cons merch, which he's still got a lot of work to do on, for R1. And you know, that could be worth hundreds of millions of rands. I mean, that antimony price is rocketing from you know, 6,000 rand, $6,000 a ton to about 16,000. It's an enormous uplift, and there are people in the world who want antimony. You know, I mean, there could possibly be someone in China or India that wants that, provided they take over all the responsibilities, because he's very keen on bringing in near mine communities as genuine shareholders, bringing in employees as genuine shareholders, so everybody is a genuine shareholder and stakeholder, all stand to benefit. So I think he's on a different game, but it may just turn out to be the perfect game.
Now, what does the company have planned for First Uranium?
Well, I think that he's putting a bit of stress onto First Uranium. He has spoken very harshly about First Uranium, and I'm sure first prize would be for him to reconfigure First Uranium, because Simmers was a very big shareholder there, so you know, he's got a lot of say, and perhaps get some of those gold assets that are also tied up with uranium assets, or maybe do something that gives him access to gold there. But it's definitely not going to be business as usual. You know, you can hear that he's very unhappy with First Uranium because they keep on raising more funds and diluting down the shareholders of Simmers. And it was the creation of a previous management team. And he will either, I think he's got three choices with there, but the one that seems to be coming up quite strongly is that he could exit totally. But you'd only need to do that around about mid-year, because that's when you know, there is a debt to be paid, 155 million rand debt to Absa, so he may want to convert that into cash. But I think there are other things that are possibilities, and he's got time to discuss that with them. But I'm sure if there's just incomplete negotiations, they could exit First Uranium.
How risky is a business model like this, where you buy, fix and sell?
Yeah, you know, he's saying it's high risk. I don't see, you know, I think it's going to be high reward. But you can see the way he acquires these assets, that he's getting stressed assets very cheaply. And he's got an appetite to turn them around. You see, most people don't. That's where his skill is. Bernard Swanepoel is a turnaround specialist. So what he's doing now, he's advertising for a lot of young aspirant turnaround specialists to come and join him, so that he will have very strong skills in that area. That's where the big skills base is. That's where the trick is with this company, to turn around. And he's done it. You know, in the past, he had 27, I think, acquisitions when he was CEO of Harmony. And he turned those assets around. So this is where his stock in trade is. So although he's talking high risk, I don't think it's such high risk. I think we're in for high reward.
Now, what do you think the future outlook for this company is?
You know, I look at it, everything he says resonates to me. It's like a refreshing approach. You know, he gets assets at very low prices. He's able to turn them to account, and then he doesn't want to empire build. You know, he doesn't want to hold on to them. If there is someone who is prepared to pay the price and to honor all the agreements to the government and to the environmental sector and to his employees, he believes you must let it go. You know, just like in the old days when maybe Gencor as a mining house would have a big controlling share in a mine, say Beatrix, that Bernard used to work on. It was a good gold mine. They would take their shareholding from 60% down to 40%, down to 30%, and nobody would actually be concerned. They would all be happy to take over those shares because it is on a good sustainable path. And that's what he wants to do with these assets at a time of a bullish period in the commodities. I think he's onto a really good thing.
Well, it sounds very exciting. Thank you, Martin.
It's a great pleasure, Shannon.
That's the show for today. Join us again next time for more news and insight into what's happening in the mining world.
For 30 years, Creamer Media's Engineering News has delivered unmatched insight into South Africa's real economy. Subscribe now and go to engineeringnews.co.za for the real economy in real time. Engineering News, not just for engineers.